Why? Why should the league do that? Because you don't think they got enough for Bradley Beal? Remember, he's on an awful contract. He's a player that has not made a difference consistently in his team's fortunes by the standard I always use, which is, do you, by your presence, make your team basically an automatic playoff contender every year? The answer to that question with Beal is no. Um, like I said, he has an awful contract, and ultimately, um, they swapped one bad contract, one misfit piece for another. Chris Paul, of course, heading to Washington, at least formally, probably will be waived. I would imagine I don't see them having any real use for him, but that made the math work. There were some other pieces. The notable absence here was the absence of any first round picks going to Washington. But again, I think, Rich, that's justifiable in the standpoint of what Phoenix is taking back in terms of having to take that contract off of Washington's hands. Bradley Beal is not Kevin Durant. This is not LeBron James. This is not Luka Doncic. Like, he's a really good player, a perennial all-star, but he's being paid like a top 5 player in the league, and he's
Right.
nowhere near that. So I don't think Phoenix got fleeced anywhere near as bad as people are making this out to be. I really don't.
Well, they didn't get fleeced, Gary, but what they got was they got their hands tied.
Right. Oh,
Remember
yeah.
what their problem was last year? No bench.
Now they got less bench.
You're going to have less of one now.
They don't even have a full starting 5.
No.
Who's their 5th starter?
Who are you going to sign to help this team? I mean, how many veterans minimums are actually going to sign with you that can still play?
We're gonna see like Taj Gibson and Joakim Noah. We're gonna see like the 2012 Bulls come out of retirement here. uh,
The trade was stupid for both teams.
yeah, I agree. I don't.
If I'm a season ticket holder for the Wizards,
Oh, you got to be livid right now.
I'm freaking pissed.
Of
They're
course,
going to get rid of Chris Paul and they're going to waive Landry Shamet.
right?
What are second round picks? Garbage.
Trash. Yeah, you basically got 2 players that aren't gonna be on your team, and 5 more players that probably also won't be on your team in the form of those second round picks you just mentioned. So you
And
basically gave Bradley Beal to Phoenix and essentially said, "Hey, if you'll pay him, you can have him." That's what you did. Now, Bradley Beal is overpaid,
oh, very much
and
so.
he's
$50 million a
yeah,
year
he's
to play half a season.
right. He's overpaid, but he is far from worthless, which is essentially what Washington got back here, worthless assets for what they're gonna do. So
And I don't want to hear that stupid argument. Well, Nikola Jokic was a second round pick. Yeah, that happens
yeah.
a couple times in a lifetime.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And Nikola Jokic has already taken it.
yeah, there's only one of him. Yeah, because I mean, really, other than him, how many second round picks can you name that even had, like, good careers? I mean, there's not. I mean, I'm sure if you really dug deep, there's a decent number of them, but like you said, it's few and far between, and basically none are stars in the way he was. The the next best second round pick I could think of off the top of my head of relatively recent times was Carlos Boozer. I think was the first pick in the second round in his draft, and he turned into a very good player, multiple
And he had
time
a
All Star,
12 and he had a 12-year career.
made a couple of All Star teams. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
But again, how often does that happen?
yeah.
Look how far you had to go back.
Right, that's 20 years, 20 plus years, absolutely. And maybe I missed one, but the point is it's not common. Those second round picks are basically worthless. You just traded the best player that's played for your organization in probably the last 15 to 20 years for essentially 2 guys you're going to cut and 4 or 5 guys you're probably never going to sign. That's what you just did if you're Washington. So, from that standpoint, it's a terrible trade. But like you said, it's not good for either side because now Phoenix, not only do you have no bench, not only are the 4 guys, Ayton, Durant, Booker, and now Beal, higher than the second threshold of the NBA salary cap structure, but on top of all that, they're not exactly like hand and glove fits with each other, Rich. Like,
No, and the funny thing is, you just take those 4 players, they're deep into the luxury tax.
yes, exactly. Like, I mean, so
The only way out of this for them is to trade DeAndre Ayton.
or I suppose Devin Booker, which they're
I
not going to
doubt
do.
that.
Yeah, they're not going to do.
Doubt that.
Both would accomplish the same thing financially, is all I'm saying. But yeah,
Yeah,
Aiton's
but
the more likely candidate by like a lot.
one is a player his coach doesn't even want. So,
Well, it's a new coach now.
yeah, the new coach doesn't like him.
Doesn't want him either. Okay.
Right.
Well, the ironic part of this is if there was one player that is distinctly different and fills a distinctly different role than the others of these 4 guys, it is Ayton. He's the one that would be the hardest to replace in terms of the things he does, because the other 3 guys do appreciably the same thing. Like, there are differences, but there are degrees of similarities. Like, Ayton's a wholly different player type than the other 3.
Question for you.
Yes.
Would the Knicks take Ayton for Mitchell Robinson?
Mm, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably. Um, I don't.
Yeah, most people would, but I'll tell you what. Mitchell Robinson in the first round against Cleveland averaged 8 points a game, 9.8 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, 1.2 steals, and 1 assist. In a closeout game against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, he had 11 offensive
Mm,
rebounds. And this is a guy who doesn't play anywhere near as many minutes as Ayton and doesn't get his number called. And he's every bit as productive, if not more.
yeah. No, that's why I hesitated. It's not an easy fix.
I mean, I'm sure the fans would want it because they just look at a name.
Well, yeah, but I I don't know. Like, to me, Aiton's one of those weird players that, as much as you look at a lot of things he doesn't do, the more Phoenix goes into this build the stars around KD approach that's worked so beautifully for Oklahoma City and Brooklyn, especially in the past. Um, the
Just
more,
look at last year's Lakers. When did they get better?
yeah, when they got rid of the stars, or at least one of them.
When they got rid of a third big salary,
Yep,
right?
yep. Well, because they had a full
And they
roster at
and
that
they
point.
were able to add actual pieces that
Right,
contributed.
right. But the what I was getting at is the more the Suns go with this strategy, the more indispensable to their roster Aiton becomes, despite all his flaws, because they simply have no other player type like him, and to your point, have no means of acquiring one. So they kind of are pinning themselves into a corner here. Now,
Right.
if you moved Aiton, which you could, what are you getting back? Hopefully, I mean, you would want some salary cap relief so you can, like you were saying, fill out a couple of pieces. One of them would have to be that back end, which they don't currently have, and which they wouldn't have without Aiden. Now, Aiden leaves some things to be desired. I understand that, maybe a lot of things at times, but he's still far better than, fill in the blank X guy you're going to bring in off the street on a veteran's minimum. Like, I don't want to overreact to what Aiton isn't.
Well, you also want to bring in more than a veteran's minimum.
I mean, if you move Aiton, what do you think you can reasonably get back? You think you can get back a rotational big and like a fifth starter type? And maybe one like young bench guy, like a guy who's on like a second, guy like who's like hanging on, or maybe just made the league, like a guy who's like on a roster but not in the rotation type. Like, you think you can get 3 pieces back for him from the right team? Maybe?
No, I think you can get 2 pieces back.
So what do you prioritize? You prioritize his replacement and what?
A young player or anyone just as a throw in. Because what you want to be able to do is at least use a mid level exception and some other contracts before you just go with veterans minimums. As long as you keep hating, you can't do that.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I've seldom seen a deal that was such a bad deal for both teams. This isn't really
And
good for anybody.
and like I said, put yourself in the stands at Wizards games at overinflated prices.
Ugh.
Now they're talking about dumping Kristaps Porzingis.
Yep. Well, that's the guy I've heard the Knicks tied to, and that actually, forget the obvious like past between them. From a purely roster needs standpoint, that actually makes a lot of sense for the Knicks.
I mean, he's only 27 and he's coming off an efficient, productive season.
Yeah, he makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't hesitate for a second to bring him back in the role that he would now be asked to play, which fits him. He would be excellent, as your buddy Doc Rivers would say. He would star in that role. The one good contribution of Doc Rivers to basketball is that saying. I do like that saying.
Yes, thank you. Now he opted into his $36 million player option. He's expected to. Okay. If they trade him, I heard through the grapevine that Kuzma won't opt in on his option.
That's understandable.
And why should he?
Yeah, why would he?
And yeah, when people say the league should look into this, this is the same tanking they talk about that they hate so much.
Now,
you can't stop teams from doing this.
Well, let's just ask.
Cleveland, which was a terrible situation, put in the Stepien so they wouldn't trade their number one draft pick away
every year, right? Well, let me ask you one thing though, and this is, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here, but just I guess for the sake of the conversation, how much of a tank job could it be for Washington, given how awful they were last year anyway?
Yeah, but weren't they in a play-in game?
I don't think so.
Or did they just miss?
I mean, they were. I mean, but to just miss the playing game requires you to be pretty bad.
Still, doesn't matter. You're competitive. The NBA's got to look at this and say, what's the best thing for the league? Like the NFL wouldn't fight back on something like this because it's all about the shield. It's the most important thing. And I'm surprised the NBA doesn't take that approach. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the one thing I'll say about that too, Washington was 35-47 last year, by the way. So they finished a full 6 games behind my Toronto for the 10th spot. So no, they weren't really competitive.
Okay.
But that aside, it goes back to what I said at the beginning too. To how bad of a deal, like how poor of a value is this really though for Washington, which, when you factor in how bad they were with Beal, how horribly overpaid and overinflated his contract is.
Well, don't forget, they were in one of those spots until a month before the season ends, and they sat Beal for the year.
Right.
So I'll stand by my statement.
Okay.
If they don't bench Beal, they're competitive for that spot.
Okay, that's understandable. That's fine. I can go with that. But my other point still stands, which is, given what he is, and he's a fully mature player, this is what he's going to be. He's not 23 anymore. What did they really get that bad of value? But they basically got another team to pay that contract is essentially what this deal is. Is that really the worst deal they could have made? Maybe you could say they could have done a little bit better, and they probably could have.
They could have. Miami wanted Beal. You might have been able to get Hero or someone, but they weren't interested in taking back any money.
Right. So they wanted to dump the salary is what it boiled down to.
Which they're going to do. I mean, they're not even going to keep Shamet. Not that that's worth much, but
right. See, what's funny about this deal too? I remember a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, when we were talking about the possibility of Chris Paul being released, which didn't end up happening, of course. And I was going through the types of teams that I thought he would actually be of service to. Not that I thought he would end up going to, but that I thought he would actually help. And the funny thing is, I was talking about young teams without a lot of direction who have a couple of young pieces that maybe could use a stable veteran starter who can kind of guide them along. Now, I don't know that Washington even has that. They don't have anything right now other than Kuzma and Porzingis, but that's the type of roster where he might actually be able to help and improve things, but the chances of them keeping him are probably close to zero.
Right. Well, especially if Porzingis leaves.
Right. I mean, I think they probably acquired him to buy him out. That's what I think. I think this is just one giant salary dump for Washington, and it's a misguided star chase by Phoenix, which that's the last thing I wanted to say on this is the odds of this working for Phoenix. I'm going to stand by what I've been saying for years now until I'm proven wrong. I'm eventually either going to be wrong on this or I'm going to be right in perpetuity. I do not believe a team led by Kevin Durant, surrounded by another bunch of quote stars, can get past the second round of the playoffs. I still don't believe that. I think this team is going to struggle just the same way, very similar structure wise to what Brooklyn was. I don't see them being any better than that. I could see Beal getting very frustrated very quickly, being such a diminished role. I just don't see this working. And I expect Phoenix to be, if everyone's healthy, they'll win some games, but they're not beating Denver in the playoff series. They're not beating the Lakers. I don't think in the playoffs. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to beat Memphis in a playoff series, depending on what happens with them. I mean, like I'm sorry, I just don't like. People are so quick to anoint them, like Kendrick Perkins calling them the best team in the West already. Please, do you watch the sport? Do you know what's going on? Like, who's gonna pass the ball? Who's gonna defend? Who's gonna stay healthy? Beal has recent big injuries. We know Kevin Durant's always hurt. Booker missed some time last year. I mean, the one guy, ironically enough, the one guy we want to trade is the one guy who's probably the most stable in the lineup, and that's Ayton. Like, he's at least available almost every night.
He's the most stable person there.
Right. He's totally unstable, but he's consistent in that instability because he's there every night. Oh, what a mess. What a mess.
No, this doesn't work. You have to have a LeBron James for this to work.
Right.
You have to have an unselfish player who is willing to be a facilitator. At this stage in his career, how much do you think Devin Booker is going to want to do that?
Or how much can he do that? Look, it's not just a
Booker
desire.
can actually do that.
It's the aptitude, too.
When Paul was out, Booker was getting 9-10 assists every night. He was moving the ball. His average dropped a little. But he is more than capable of doing that. Beal is not.
Yeah, Beal's an off-ball shooter.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Booker is capable, but how happy is Booker going to be doing that?
That's a good question.
See, I don't want to take 3 points off my average because I got paid because of my average.
Yep, that's right. No, it's true. I mean, it all makes total sense. It really does. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back and we will have our OC Smash Player of the Week. It is CJ Davila of the 9&U team. And that's coming up next, the Gary Ayd Show. Back after this here on The Cave.
Now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days' patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required
Carlos, how's it going?
less expensive sourcing
Good,
and
man.
production process.
So we'll be on in about a
Dr.
minute,
Lee's
okay?
formulation, this enzyme's great health
Alrighty,
benefits
cool.
can now
I'll
be
put you on.
brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
All righty, welcome back to the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave. Great to have you aboard, and we are joined now by CJ Davila of the 9U OC Smash. What's up, CJ? How you doing, man?
Good.
Nice to talk to you. How's your day going?
It's going really good today.
Awesome, glad to hear it. So, tell me, how long have you been playing baseball?
I've been playing baseball since I started walking, basically. I've been playing baseball since really young.
Wow, good for you. And what's your favorite part about the sport?
My favorite part about playing baseball is like going against other kids, the experience, playing with my friends, and just having fun.
That's awesome. And what positions do you play?
I play shortstop, third base, and pitcher, and sometimes catcher.
Sometimes catcher. Awesome. What's your favorite position?
My favorite position is pitcher and shortstop.
Are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a righty.
Righty. Awesome. What to you is the most fun part of baseball? Is it hitting? Is it pitching? Is it playing the field? Like, what do you like doing the most?
Pitching.
Pitching. Yeah. Why? Because you have the ball every play?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good stuff. How long have you been, is this your first year with the Smash?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. How do you like it so far?
It's really good. It's a really good program.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part about it?
The coaches and the players. It's really fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool. What do you say when you go out to play? What's like the first thing you do? Do you warm up? Do you throw the ball around? Like, do you run in the outfield? Like, how do you get ready for a game?
We throw the ball around, talk, hit, practice with the heavy balls.
Very, very cool. What about have you made new friends since you joined the Smash?
Yeah.
Awesome. What's been the I guess the biggest thing that has been different than maybe from where you were playing before?
The Smash really been helping me hit the ball really good.
Yeah. Has there been a game or a play this year that that you really enjoyed a lot, like a particular game?
When when we played in the grit, not the grit tournament, the Ripken tournament, I hit a double down the line, and in the last game when I was at second base, I made a backhand and stepped on second and threw it to first.
Wow, that must have been a lot of fun. Did you get a lot of high fives and stuff from your teammates?
Yeah.
That's cool. So you mentioned you started playing baseball like basically from the time you could walk. Do you have like older brothers that played, or like what got you into the sport at such an early age?
My dad just played a lot of sports, so he's just been active with me since I was really young.
Do you play other sports too, or just baseball?
Yeah, I play football and basketball.
Is baseball your favorite of the three?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Last couple of things for you. What do you when's your next game? When are you playing next? This weekend?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday, so a couple days. Very cool. And I guess my last thing is, who's your favorite major league player?
My favorite major league player all time is Derek Jeter and Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. Good man. That's my favorite player too. What do you like so much about Barry Bonds?
He hits the ball really good, and he runs fast, and he throws the ball good.
Yep, he's just a great baseball player. He really was. Well, good job, man. And hey, enjoy the rest of their season. And thanks for stopping by with us today. Okay.
All right, have a good day.
Alrighty, you too. Thank you. Alrighty. That is CJ Davila. This is the Gary Ayd Show. Back after this here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All righty, we are back here on the Gary Ayd Show. It's great to have you aboard, and that was a good interview there. Short and sweet, very well done by the young man. A Barry Bonds fan, Rich. How about that?
I like that.
I mean,
If you're going to be a hitter, you may as well emulate Barry Bonds.
you can't find a better one than that. I mean, there's very, very few guys that are anywhere near in his category. That's for sure. It's interesting too. I always find it fascinating, perhaps because of my own history with being a fan of history, and knowing a lot about players who played before my time. I always find it interesting when someone so young is citing someone, or in this case, two someones who played and retired before they were born or right as they were born. I mean, in the case of Jeter, he probably retired about the same time CJ there was born, maybe a year or so later rather. And Bonds was long retired by the time he was born. I find that to be very, very interesting that those would be the two players that he would pick.
I know.
I mean, those are two good ones.
I was surprised by that.
Especially Bonds. I mean, Bonds to me, as I've said a million times, is the single best baseball player I've seen in my lifetime. The guy was a monster in every way. So getting back to kind of where we go from here with the NBA. So obviously you got the draft coming up in a few days. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start doing a kind of a draft preview of sorts. And you now have, of course, one big domino has fallen.
Draymond Green's available.
Yep, Draymond Green has opted out. And I would imagine that Chris Paul and/or Landry Shamet, like we were talking about before, will also be available, probably for signing. I think both will eventually get bought out or waived.
Right.
So let's kind of play the matchmaking game here for a second. Draymond Green what's his market going to be? I mean, he has like unique properties to Golden State. I don't know what great value beyond like a mid-level contract he brings anywhere else.
I don't know. I think he'd get a mid-level with the Lakers.
Yep. No, I agree. But I wonder, I guess my more direct question is, I wonder what his reasoning behind opting out is, because it's unlikely he gets 27 million from anyone but the Warriors, and it's entirely possible that now that he's out of that contract, the Warriors don't even want to go that deep for him. I mean, I just wonder, maybe he's really looking for a different fit, or I can't imagine he opted out to get more money. I hope that's
he
not the
knows
case.
he's not going to get more money.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, how about Dallas? He'd give them a little bit of grease paint that lineup needs.
Yep.
They don't need the biggest skill guy in the world. I could see that being the case. I could see him going
Yeah, that's an option. That's totally an option. The other guy
there.
that
I know he's also reached out to LeBron to come to Dallas, so he might be interested in going.
I would be very surprised if LeBron left the Lakers. I know people
I would too.
people have talked about the Dallas thing in particular. I mean, the one thing about LeBron's dalliances throughout his career, he was always bringing someone with him or to him. Even in Miami, remember, Wade was a free agent then too. They were all free agents. They brought each other to Miami. That was a collective decision.
Well, LeBron first tried to bring Bosh to Cleveland.
Right, and Bosh was having none of that.
Do you blame him?
Not in the least. I'd rather be in Miami than Cleveland too. I get it.
I mean, he wasn't going to get another player worth playing with. You saw what the kind of player Cleveland was able to bring in.
Oh, yeah. But that's my point. Like, people joined LeBron. LeBron didn't join people. LeBron's too big to be the joiner. He's not going to join Luka Doncic or like Kyrie Irving more operatively. Like, he's not going to do that. Like, Kyrie might want to play with him again, but there's practical matters here that just are probably going to preclude that. But to your point with Green, I think that Green on the Lakers at least makes sense from the standpoint of that's the right veteran type of team that would potentially desire a player like him. We know the close relationship between the two of them, Green and LeBron. I personally don't want that move. But that's just because I don't really think much of Draymond Green as a basketball player. I think he's more of a goon than anything else. But
I think though a lot of what he brings, passing, how he can operate in an offense without needing the ball, are things that team can use.
That's possible, but he does
especially
nothing.
when one of your ball handlers is D'Angelo Russell.
Well, I'm assuming Russell will be gone. I guess I'm not assuming. I'm hoping he's gone. I don't like his fit at all.
And the talk about replacing him keeps coming back to Trae Young.
Oh gosh, please no, please no.
Hey, this is just what I'm hearing.
No Trae Young. Oh, that would be a disaster. See, the problem with Green with the Lakers is the one biggest issue that their lineup has consistently is shooting. He's going to do nothing to help that.
I think they have shooting.
Okay.
I think they have added shooting. Reeves can really shoot. Hachimura is good in the mid-range.
Yep.
You added people at or near the deadline that can shoot the ball.
If they'll keep him in the rotation consistently, Walker can shoot.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a question. You bring in Draymond Green. Is he a starter? And if so, what's that lineup look like?
I don't know if he's a starter.
Yeah.
You might start him just to kind of placate him, but I don't think he plays starters minutes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I think he plays a lot of minutes when LeBron's not in the game,
As that.
just because it gives you another facilitator.
Right. Yep. That makes sense. I mean, how much will Anthony Davis love having him yelling at him the whole day?
Might be the best thing for him.
Or it could be a Jordan Poole 2.0.
Yeah.
I see that's what I'm afraid of with Green is he doesn't have any sense of when enough is enough. Like one thing that was great about, say, Vince Lombardi, who was as bluff and gruff and blistering as anybody that's ever existed in sports. He knew who he could do that with, who he couldn't, when to pull back, when to apologize. He did all those things. Draymond Green is as dense as the redwoods in Northern California. Like, he's a total blockhead with that. He just straight ahead all the time, yell, scream. And I don't know. But I mean, I hear what you're saying about the facilitating, and that is true. That does make sense. I know him and LeBron are friends. I know that extra playmaker could be valuable. That extra defensive versatility could be valuable. I get all that. But what are you bringing along with that?
That's the question. Now, will that calm down a bit with LeBron there? That's the other question you have to ask yourself. The Warriors didn't really have anyone to put Green in his place.
That's true. Green was the place putter, for better or worse.
And they usually just left it alone because Curry and Thompson didn't want to deal.
Right.
I don't blame them.
Right. And they all kind of came up together and just kind of rationed, okay, that's Draymond, whatever. They kind of just rolled with it.
Right.
He's going to come in like a firestorm to a new location, wherever that is, whether it's the Lakers or any place else. They're not going to be used to that. And they're not going to have that, brotherhood that the three of those share, that fraternal connection of kind of coming up through the system all at the same time together and then doing what they've done together. Wherever he goes, if he goes anywhere, he's going to have to really tone it down a lot, I think. And I don't know that he's capable of that. And that's my biggest concern. Last thing on this, what do you think is more likely? Staying with Golden State or the field for Draymond Green?
The field.
So you think he's gone?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But I think he's gone.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think that Poole thing was an inflection point, a permanent scar, no pun intended, that I think just made it irreconcilable. And even the Warriors, I just can't imagine that they're going to choose a 35-year-old or whatever he is, role player Draymond Green over a 24, 25-year-old who has shown, albeit inconsistently, the ability to be kind of one of the next guys to kind of ease the transition away from Curry and Thompson. It just doesn't make sense to do that. I mean, just on age alone, you're talking about a 10 or so year age. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to Mike Dunleavy Jr. either.
Right, which is the guy that has to make sense to.
Because he came out and said he plans to have Jordan Poole around for 4 more years at least.
Yeah, and I don't think you can have the two of them together.
No, they had to move off of Green.
Yep.
Thing is, I think he opted out because he had to have known they weren't. If he opted in, had to have known they weren't going to keep him there.
Right. Yep. This gives him more flexibility to sign, albeit for probably a massive reduce in money, someplace that's more to his liking. It gives him more leverage and more ability to make the decision independently,
Very true.
which makes sense. All right, let's take
Now
Mhm.
another piece of the trade, real quick.
Yeah.
Chris Paul. Chris Haynes from Bleacher Report came out and said the Wizards are likely to reroute Paul to the Clippers. And I'm thinking to myself,
We've
man,
watched this movie before, haven't we?
does he fit in there great or what? He won't survive a playoff series either.
Uh,
We'll have 3 injured, big 3 there. All 3 of them will be out at some point.
oh my goodness! And didn't we watch this movie already?
Yeah, but we watched it with DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin.
Okay, and also a much younger and better Chris Paul.
Yes. This Chris Paul couldn't get into the second round with Phoenix.
Yeah, it's true.
He got injured.
Yep.
Gee, guess what? He gets injured all the time.
Good times. What a
Amazing. I love this time.
Oh, it's the best. I mean, like, people love it, or they use it as a reason to point to why the NBA is not what it used to be or something. This is great. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I mean, look, you're a baseball nerd of the highest order, but even you recognize that that's not like most people aren't that deep into it. So
Right.
what are you gonna do this time of year? Of course, this stuff takes priority. It's interesting. It's conversation. Is any of it gonna happen? Who knows? But that's what's fun about it, because any of it could happen or it could not, and it's just fun to. It's just water cooler conversation. Is just what it is, and that's what radio is. Look, there's nothing serious about this job. We're a couple of guys talking sports. Hell, I could be wrong. I'm wrong probably 50 times a day. We're not reporters. We're not held to a standard of like, did we get it first? Did we get it right? Now, you want to be as informed and accurate in your opinions as you can, sure. But like,
And we have gotten a couple things
yeah,
first.
yeah, of course. I mean, but this time of year, we're just reading the same things everyone else is reading and kind of breaking it down to our understanding. That's all. And it's fun. The hell. Just live a little. People get so serious, man. It's sports. It's the toy aisle. Enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be driving you crazy. It's supposed to be enjoyable. Like, yeah,
Very true.
you could talk about money and politics and religion later on if you want to get serious and stressed out. But if you want to just
This isn't serious. It's sports.
It's sports. It's supposed to be a diversion. It's supposed to be an escape. Treat it as such. Have fun. Let your hair down. I mean, sorry, Rich. But hey.
I'll let the thought of hair down.
I'll let my hair down. There we go. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I guess let's keep it right here. Mets have been up and down again. They did have a couple of wins last week.
They blew yesterday against the Cardinals.
They did, which is
Team
awful.
I really wanted to.
But I will say this. I am beginning to believe that Justin Verlander will eventually find his way again.
I'm more concerned about Scherzer than Verlander.
Yeah, Scherzer, I'm almost past the point of concern with him. I'm almost to resignation. I'm almost to the point where I think it's done.
Pete Alonso may be coming back for the Mets.
Thank goodness.
Good, because Ohtani and Trout went back-to-back yesterday, and Ohtani's got 24 jacks. Let me tell you, that's not chicken feet.
That's true. I love the meme that goes around every once in a while with the Angels. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout combined for this, that, the other thing, which is the first time it's happened since 1895 with Hacksaw Jim bludgeoning Jackson, and the Angels lose 9-2.
Yeah, I saw something going around today. Ohtani leads in batting, in home runs, in RBI. I mean, in every single category except for walks, he's tied with Trout. And he leads in every pitching category. I'm like, Shohei Ohtani is the Angels.
Why can't that team figure it out? I just don't understand.
I don't know. It's not like everybody they add is garbage either.
And it's not like they have an owner who's afraid of spending money to get good. In fact, quite the opposite. It's just,
Oh, I know.
it's frustrating to me, and I'm not an Angels fan, but but I'm a baseball fan. It's just perplexing as much as frustrating. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like the Knicks for all those years. I mean, there was all kinds of terrible things, but the one thing you could never say is that Dolan was cheaping out or wasn't willing to invest in the team. He was always willing to do that. You have to give him that. He always was.
Right. Just
Nope.
nobody wanted to sign them.
And the guys he did sign, he overpaid and they underdelivered or injuries or whatever. But it was never for lack of interest or willingness. And you have to give him that. And Moreno's no different. Moreno
Right.
absolutely will spend what he needs to spend to get a good team on the field. And he just can't do it.
Agreed.
And it's weird.
Couple of sweeps in baseball this weekend.
Oh,
and
yes.
Surprising ones. The Red Sox swept the Yankees. The Giants swept the Dodgers and overtook second place. So the Giants are in second place in the NL West. The Dodgers are in third. The Giants had a field day against LA's pitching. I mean, they outscored them 22-3 over 2 games. And then they had a rally last night to win 7-5. San Francisco second in the West, and they're both looking up at Arizona. These are strange times.
Oh, they really are. And yeah, I got to say one thing about the Dodgers for a second. I mean, what they did with those sisters or whatever is just blatant disrespect toward a whole huge chunk of their fan base. There's no group of people that highlighting those women, term used very loosely, is in any way like supporting. All that's doing is creating rancor, and it's a direct spit in the face to any Christian. It just is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no reason to do that. There's no secular reason for that. There's no business reason for that. There's no reason for that other than just being stupid. And I was deeply disappointed in that organization. Why would you? There's no reason for that. None whatsoever. Like,
I know.
At least if you have like a Muslim night, which I wouldn't agree with, but I would understand, like, there's an appreciable number of people on the planet that practice that. Okay, yes. I get it. This makes no sense. It's just as if they intentionally were like, what can I do to make the whole Christian world that follows the Dodgers mad at us today? What can we do that would gain us nothing and maximize their anger? Like, it almost seems like that was what else could they have been thinking? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I am beyond tired of nights in sports.
Yes.
Or weeks or months. How about we're all inclusive 24/7,
yes.
365,
yes.
and everyone is welcome.
Yes. And the only people that get nights are the former greats of that organization. There's no explanation needed if you honor Sandy Koufax and you're the Dodgers. I don't need to explain that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
Congratulations to Wyndham Clark.
Yeah. Ooh.
I think it's his first major. At 29 years old. I like it. He had a moment. Not only am I very happy for him, I'm very happy Rory McIlroy didn't win. My pick, Scotty Scheffler, was third, so I can't complain too much.
That's not too bad.
I was close.
There we go. Well, good stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. This is the Gary Ayd Show. We'll see you then here on The Cave.